savage, call me villain. I can see that you're about to fall. Take the risk now, treasure's calling. I can hear you running through my halls. Evil inside, kill my feelings. I could never be a pacifist. Palace towers, you are falling. Kinda feel like an antagonist.
Welcome back to the It's been a while. Overall, in the length of time since I've been back, not the last time that I posted. Even though it's been a little bit. That's been too long. But I miss this. This is one of my favorite things to do so far. With a little bit of twists and turns, a little bit of ups and downs, some side to sides. Anyway, we did things, right, in the last one. Things that I messed with personally. I thought it was pretty good. Ended up being a little bit long. But hopefully y'all was right there with me. That was the one I came back on. So, you feel me? Let's just hope this one isn't as long. And to make it not as long, we're gonna start right now. So, we at the next day. Crystal, she taking time to recuperate. She gotta mentally, just it's not feeling real for her right now, but she gonna get there. She gonna be fine. Nobody is worried about Crystal completely. I mean, we got some worries, but same day, because Aiden be doing everything in behind the scenes. If we're being 100, my boy Aiden, he do all the work behind the scenes, behind all the work. Like Izuku, Kai, Madeline. They look like they do a lot of the heavy lifting. They look like they got a lot of the work going, and they do their thing. Kai be making sure the little ones, is taken care of, and the children, but also the new recruits that are also, recently joined. He been making sure they know they be getting started correctly. Madeline, she do a lot of the groundwork with just laying down the law of like what to do and how to keep everybody safe while doing it. She be doing a lot of that. She focused on that primarily, and they know Madeline, so they gonna listen to her. You feel me? So, and ain't nobody mad at that, right? Izuku, he do a lot of the high end plans, making sure that when they are outside, because they can't go all hours of the day. All Might's still out here. Izuku know he lost a lot of them sparks, but he also know, well, he don't know this sparks. He also he don't know it's sparks, but he do know that All Might is weaker than he was before, and such. Either way, he know All Might's still out here. Everybody else, they can run away from. Top 10, they'll hit the dash on the top 10 hero. You feel me? But and other heroes as well, because it's not like a lot of these heroes is lacking experience, but there is some where it's like, oh yeah, we could probably run down on that one and be fine. Like Toga just got done manhandling Miss Joke in one of those episodes. I think that was 2 episodes ago. If I'm being 100, I might be completely wrong though. Don't go back and watch for me. Make sure I'm on point. Maybe. Nah, I'm joking. You don't have to do all that. Anyway, but Aiden, like Izuku be making sure that the plans plan right. He makes sure the plans go off, and they ain't gotta do too much of work. They ain't handling nothing that they can't handle completely. But Aiden, he'll find in any location, any location, all the deepest, darkest secrets that you want to know about Big Bro. That's you know, that's the, you gotta watch out for Big Brother right there. You feel me? That's Aiden. Either way, he pull up on Izuku again, because he done heard some stuff. He's seeing stuff. He's seeing stuff, right? It's not online though, because you know my boy be outside now, kind of, right? He learning how to use his abilities for evil purposes more. He learned how to use his abilities for more evil purposes, right? And he also trying to build something because, you know, his quirk is the connector, but he need, you know, it would on some mystical magical. He kind of feel like he need a catalyst, and he also don't think what he got can operate as a great catalyst for what he trying to do completely. So he been looking for the parts for that. You know, that's his own little side quest that he going on. But when he was out and about with the crew, you know, undercover, but like ready to pop off, you know, because they don't really be going outside all that much in the daytime when All Might be out, you know, or in the nighttime when All Might be out. They be going in between the realms of all that, but you know, at the same time, don't nobody know who they is anyway. So yeah, he was around and he was hearing stuff. You know, he was hearing stuff. He was like, oh shoot, something going down. Maybe I should tell the boss about it, you know? So he ends up pulling up on Izuku. And he like, hey, you know, a lot of people been talking out there. And Izuku like, what you talking about? What happened? And Aiden, he like, all right, so, you know, I was out there and I was looking around, trying to, you know, do my own thing. I'm trying to, you know, get more ingrained with this little ability, the quirk, right? But, you know, while I was out there doing that, you know, hacking into people's personal information and, you know, just doing my thing out there, right? I realized that some people, there's some talk about some kind of heist going on in UA. And, you know, normally Izuku wouldn't care, but at the point where he is now, you know, just seeing how the cars done lined up for him, he at the point where it's like, let me know, let me tell me everything you know about that. What they've been saying, you know? And Aiden does that, you know. He tells them that, you know, a whole bunch of people done got called up, you know, offered some money, you know, they going in, and apparently whoever running it got like some kind of secret plan on some you know, take out All Might stuff. And that's where all the gears in my boy Izuku mind kind of grind to a stop. Cause it's like, okay. He knows that All Might is weaker. But he was told directly by All Might that All Might is weaker. He also know he ain't told nobody else. Even as a villain, he also know he ain't told nobody else. So that must mean that either somebody's been watching him and peeping that he been moving a little bit slower and he ain't been out for as long, and they think right now is the perfect time to try to get the jump on him, even though they, as far as Izuku can tell, I mean, the longer they wait, the more of a chance they're gonna have, even though it is All Might at the end of the day. But besides the point, either that's happening or we're dealing with some goofy lunatic going along with some random goofy lunatic's plan about, you know, about just taking out All Might without having a real plan for it, right? So, you know, Zuku look at Aiden like, really? You feel like, come on, you know the look when they, you know, he looked at him like, really? You feel me? Aiden was like, look, normally I'd be right there with you, but the amount of people they got that I done seen just out and about, and that's just here, around this area. I don't think they just getting people from around this area. And I was checking some of them quirks. Some of these people got some quirks. And I ain't saying they just ultimate quirks or anything, but it seemed like whoever planned this out know a little bit about what they talking about. Most of these people probably going to jail for the sake of killing All Might. And I'm just letting you know. So Zuku, he started thinking, And he look around, you know, he look outside the window, he's seeing the people, he's seeing the you know, the outside cloudy day, you know. He's like, he wouldn't know anything about you know, he wouldn't know anything about anyone that All Might had a violent streak with, because most of the people that he knows about that from that All Might fights don't ever come back again. All right, they end up in jail and they gone forever. Even if they get out of jail, they ain't coming back. Not to do no villainy. Not around All Might. So he does feel like it's not likely, but at the same time, he's got enough cards to play to just to check. Just to check. And with that, he makes his decision. Now, exiting all that, back to my boy Bakugo, because that's the main character now. Main character Bakugo. Yep. Everybody knows this is your favorite character right here. Big Bakugo. Big Bakugo. Favorite character around here. Crowd favorite. Anyway. While that was happening, Bakugo went through the Shigaraki put his palm on the gate to lock out the media presence. And things happen. Let's just say things happen, right? Shigaraki put his hand on the gate. The media started flooding in. A whole bunch of alarms started ringing. Before this, they did pick a class president. Momo was the vice class president. And Bakugo wouldn't be the class president no matter what happened, to be honest. Even I know he's a lot less himself. And Dakota wouldn't also, to be just to be fair, if I'm being 100. Not because of like him being rude either. It's just because he's not, how do I say, he's more of a reserved type of person. That's what it is. It's more like he's still not really talking to a lot of people. I mean, he kind of cool with Bakugo and Kirishima. I don't know if at this point he been that cool with Bakugo. Yeah, either. So yeah, he kind of cool with Bakugo. He's gotten kind of cool with Bakugo, but overall his relationship with the rest of the class isn't even normal, respectfully. Like, you know, where everybody just know each other's name. You don't even know everybody's name at this point. You don't know Todoroki at all. But Todoroki got his own problems going. He hasn't ever talked to Momo. He ain't ever talked to Mina. You feel me? He ain't never talked to. There's a lot of people he ain't ever really just talked to. He might know about 3, 4, 5 people in this classroom. And you know, and Bakugo would have given Dakota the point, you know, the vote, because maybe that'll help him get some, you know, friends. Bakugo's the only motherfucker that Dakota knows, other than these other 4 individuals that he might know a little bit, right? So if they would have traded votes, neither of them would have won either way. Either, I feel like, would have just won off real. You know, off real, people would have just won. You know, the cafeteria thing happens, right? He got either out there, he doing his student council duties. You know, that's class rep and assistant class rep right there. They doing their thing. Momo step it up. Ida done got you. He got you now. He hit you with some levels above. Now how you gonna do? What you gonna do about it? Anyway, but yeah. After that, they do they talking about going on a rescue mission thing. So they gotta go on this field trip. They hit the field trip. They go into, you know, USJ. Everybody on the bus, they talking, getting to know each other more. Even Dakota getting a little bit more comfortable talking to the people around, talking about Bakugo, talking to Bakugo. You know, just all around, everybody, you know, they getting more friendly. Kirishima, Sue, you know, that was the main people talking, you know. Other people involved, Dinky, Mineta, you know, Mineta you talking about. Either way, you know, they pull up to 13. I'm 90% sure that's her name. Because I said it so confident, but I just don't know completely. I think her name's 13. I'm going to just say that because, yes, sir. Anyway, they pull up on 13. And, you know, 13 signal to Aizawa like, yo, All Might time ran out. All Might timer gone. It's not All Might no more. It's Toshinori Yagi. You feel me? Obviously, Aizawa like, this nigga can't. This nigga. All Might over here like, man, this nigga. You feel? Yeah, because All Might was out there and he was really doing his thing. And, you know, he just ran out of time. You know, sometimes you just ran out of time. So, you know, we ain't mad at you. Your boy was out there saving people. He was out there taking care of everybody. But he just ran out of, he ain't got the strength like he used to. Anyway, so they at the USJ. Again, you know, it's not even a whole tour they get to go on. They just looking at it from the entrance. You know, everybody's shocked. You know, Dakota's shocked. You know, and resolved in a way. He feel prepared. He determined. You know, Bakugo, you know, he you know, he feeling in his chest like, you know, shout out to Big Bro, shout out to Izuku from the back. I'ma be a hero. You know, I'ma do my job. Number one hero is in sight. It just, you know, that's how he feeling. He's like number one hero in sight. It's the first obstacle. Time the first test. The first real test. He about to BTA. You feel me? Anyway, before they can end up doing any of that, Korigiri pull up. And, you know, when Korigiri pull up, you know, you feel me? Opposition roll out. Loud. They got the opposition out. They going out in waves and stuff, you know. They like, yeah, we're All Might, yeah, Time to get some payday. I'm trying to make that money, that moolah, that munyon. You know, everybody excited for different reasons. Shigaraki pull up. He looking around. He don't see no All Might. He seen all the kids here. He seen some teachers. He was told All Might was supposed to be here. And he was. But, you know, he said, okay, bet. All Might late, he always late. He can't save nobody. And I'm going to prove it to him when I take out this class. Yeah. You know, because, you know, that's how that boy Shigaraki be on. Aizawa immediately into action. Everybody, stand again at the entrance. Jumped off. You know, he started with the scarf. Spider-Man swinging, kicking people in they chest, jumping up, slapping them, kicking them with the in the face. Back flips, front flips, eyes. He started using the eyes to turn off the quirks immediately, wrap him up in the scarf again, throw him into somebody else. You know he down there with the 1v17. You know he down there with the 1v17. Obviously, automatically Dakota like, dang, we gotta go help him. 13 like, no, y'all gonna stay here. And you gonna let the pro heroes deal with it. Instantaneously. All of a sudden, kids dropping through portals. They getting spread across the map. Oh shit. You feel me? No, they pop up in different areas and stuff. Niggas like, I'm getting set up. Okay. Bet that up then, you know? Automatically, you know, Todoroki, he doing his thing automatically. Bakugo, he seen him. He said, bet. Explosions, man. He start, You know, my boy Bakugo ain't losing to no grunts. While Aizawa is out there, you know, putting teeth on the curb, kicking teeth in. You know, more people exiting out the portal. They got that mask on. You know, Shigaraki go over looking at him. He like, hey, last minutes. I need y'all to earn this money that y'all about to make. So they look at him. You know, and this is Izuku crew. You know, so they don't even give a fuck about what he talking about. But they like, you know what? He did tell us to follow the script. So, but ultimately, first and foremost, he told them not to get caught. You know, that's one of the only options, nigga. As long as they don't get caught, they can do what they want. They ran off through the portals sometimes, you know, seeing some other student heroes. Ain't nobody ran up on Aizawa. But at the same time, Shigaraki ran up on him, grabbed his elbow like, I've always liked you, Eraserhead. You was always one of my favorite heroes. You know, started decaying his elbows. He said, bet. He had to hit him with that quirk. The decay stopped, jumped off. Before we get any further with that, you know, my boy Dakota out there with Sue. He out there with Mineta in the water, my boy. He had to survive. They saved him. Because he was about to get jumped under that water with those goons. Now, obviously, he ain't got one for all, so he ain't going to be able to do what Izuku would have did. But he also not just going to let them beat him. You know, they first and foremost, Dakota ain't the type of individual to just let anybody get over on him. You know, he don't feel like that's in his character. He ain't got it in him like that. And he gotta motivate Sue and Mineta. They scared out they mind. They think the pro hero should handle it. He looked at him like, ain't no pro heroes coming to save us right now. It's all we got right now is us and what we can do. That's it. Do you want to give up and let us and die about it? You want to die behind what other people want in their plans? Or do you want to fight like a hero? You know? It motivates Sue. Mineta's still scared, but because 2 people of the 3 people is motivated, Mineta feel like he gotta do something. Cause he was hearing the plan from Dakota. He stood up, he said, y'all gonna need me just in case. Plus, I would be wrapped around her tongue too, you feel me? So he gets smacked for that. Cause you know how Sue be. You know how Sue be. Sue don't play none of that shit. So, but at the same time, they came up with a plan. Right? So Sue ends up picking up Mineta and wrapping Dakota up in the tongue. You feel me? Jump straight in the water. Luckily, Dakota was able to, he was able to convince both of them because Sue got the speed in the water and Mineta got the range. You feel me? Anybody else that's getting anywhere remotely close to the range of how far Sue's tongue can go, gonna get dropped by Dakota because, you know, he got the power on him. You know, he can swim too. You know, his quirk allowed him to swim not great, but better than average, right? He ain't never trained his quirk in that regard like that, but that's when the pressure, the adrenaline start pumping and he start using that quirk. It started getting a little bit better every day. So they you know, everybody getting caught up. You know, my boy Mineta then pulled all the hairballs out. He out here bleeding from the scalp. Niggas need to breathe. Sue jump up where she don't see none of the where the balls was. All the other guys then jumped out too. They start getting stuck. Started sticking to each other. They like, what the heck? We can't move. This shit won't come off. You know, in the distraction of these people, they you know, Sue able to, you know, leap back to the boat, leap off the boat. You know, they fly all the way to where the shore is. Barely breathing, but it's fine because they lived. Almost drowned under that water, but they lived though. Besides the point, Bakugo, he break out. You know, he flying back to where the center is. While he flying back to where the center is, you know, Sue, Mineta, Dakota, they got out to the shore. Shigaraki tried to put her, and you know, tried to dust Sue instantaneously. Like they didn't even see him pull up. He was just there on hands. Luckily, Aizawa pulled up. He was still staring at Shigaraki. You ain't dusting nobody at Shigaraki. I mean, if Aizawa was there, you know, he still got the Nomu on him and everything. You know, arms and broken shit. You feel me? But you know, he ain't about to just give up. That's his student on the line. He ain't just about to give up. Shigaraki stopped. He said, "You really are impressive, Aizawa." And you know, niggas is frozen in fear, respectfully, right? Aizawa about to die. Bakugo here, but he don't even know what to do. He never. That's a goddamn monster on top of Aizawa. You know, everybody else scared. They don't know what to do. Some people ain't moved. Some people is moving. That's when my boy All Might drop in, bust in the door. I am here, and I'm very angry. You know, cause you know he's seeing what's going on. You know, he mad. He's seeing what's going on. He said, "Nah, niggas ain't out here ruining the USJ. The rescues." Bet. I'm gonna show y'all something. When that happens, right? Because the people that the gang, right? The Dark Emperors. Stop. Anyway, but yeah, they see All Might. Yeah, that's when Rule 2 popped up. If he do pull up, make sure you don't get caught. All right, I don't need All Might catching none of y'all. Y'all don't even think about fighting, cause it's All Might. You feel me? So they start looking around trying to find out a way to skedaddle, but they also know they got a plan. So not more often. Originally, they was just around, you know, destroying shit. And these some new recruits too. You know, not all of them, but some of them. You know, some new recruits mixed in with some slightly older recruits. You know, they punching people or they trying to fight. They're mainly supporting the other niggas that are fighting. And when those niggas lose, they run off. That's just pretty much what happens. But yeah, when they see All Might, they start kind of gathering towards the center area so they can all be together. You feel me? All Might jump down the stairs. He already instantaneously knocking off multiple villains, almost everybody around. And after that nigga Shigaraki was like, "Get him, Nomu." This nigga started squaring up with the Nomu. They start blow for blow. Shigaraki was like, yeah, that motherfucker got the hella quirks. He got quirks to take on your punches. He got the regeneration. He got the shock absorption. He got the regeneration. He got all the quirks to destroy you, All Might. I was like, oh shit. Okay. So he liked that. Guess I better step it up. They start throwing them bitches some more. You feel me? Jumping up in the air. Grabbing, All Might grabbing niggas, throwing them to the ground, punching some more. Numbu don't feel no pain, so he punching back. Off the ground, getting the ground back. From the ground? That's crazy. But they start realizing they kind of like evenly matched and shit. You feel me? So they tried to set up that boy, they tried to set that boy All Might up after he thought he won. And he got hit with the grab from the back suplex into the Korigiri portal. They trying to cut him in half. That's when my boy Bakugo pull up with Dakota. You feel me? Jumped up in there. Dakota went over there. Upper kick, air kick, leg in the air, trying to hit him with the battle axe kick to the ground. My boy Bakugo, hands up, trying to hit him with the explosions to the Nomu's abs, of course, right? And it's got shock absorption, but that boy faltered a little bit. Even Todoroki was there. He hit that boy with the ice on his leg. Yep. All Might slip through. Hit him with the reversal suplex. Boom. Bakugo instantaneously. He trying to get over with where Kurogiri is. The only villains that are left still standing is Izuku's group, basically, right? They kind of further away from All Might. If you further away from that, then you can see them, and they staring, they watching. Shigaraki couldn't believe it. Kurogiri was pinned down while that was happening by Bakugo. He was the speed. Kirishima helped Bakugo. He caught Kirishima, came up from behind, got Kurogiri off guard. Bakugo pull up with the explosions. He on that boy's neck. He on his neck. while that was happening, All Might started squaring up with Nomu again. Shigaraki said, Nomu, what are you doing? You gotta get him, Nomu, get him. They start squaring up. Blow for blow. Throw for throw. All Might started going some more. Punches, 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 punches. That boy Nomu couldn't keep up no more. He started getting blown into the sky. Explosion. That boy flew off into the sky, man. That's that plus ultra right there. Shigaraki couldn't believe it. And All Might was just standing there. Because, he running out of time for real, for real. He's like, no, I won't allow it to end this way. I'm running towards All Might. Snipe pull up. Bing, bing, bing. All up in his legs. That nigga ain't going nowhere. Ain't going nowhere. He ain't going not one area, not one place, nowhere. Kurogiri get, a little bit frazzled dazzled. My boy Bakugo was distracted. He escaped the hold that boy Bakugo got. Ran over to Shigaraki. Started protecting him. Teleporting the bullets. Then he was like, I'll get you next time. All Might. Right? Leaving the other, leaving Deku's group. Just high and dry and shit. Luckily, they got a plan for that. They had the teleporting brother nigga with them. The portal one. And, all he did was he just made a portal. And he sent everybody through. But he wanted a little bit more, too. He wanted some more. So he ain't go through yet. He said, he had the mask on and shit. He said, bitch, I can do what I want. I ain't gotta go back yet. Let me wall out real quick, He trying to test out his powers a little bit more. He trying to grow. He don't like the little training shit they be doing at the spot. He want to fight. So he started off. First thing first, he started off teleporting, putting the portal under All Might. We don't know where he at no more. It's not even like he could fight anyway, so he ain't coming back. He gone. But he did that because he don't know All Might got a time limit. So just to get the nuisances out the way, he put a portal on All Might, Aizawa, some of the other heroes that came in the room, the door. All he had to do is, get there. He got the portal ability. So after that, motherfuckers start trying to swing. We got Tokiyami pull up. Dark Shadow tried to hit him with that mean right. Portal on that motherfucker arm. It swing right back at Tokiyami. Motherfuckers didn't recognize that he intelligent with it, right? He fall down. Portal right behind Ojiro. Now Ojiro good with the close combat, Bro said he gotta test that out too. He gotta work on it. So he trying to weave. He started getting overwhelmed. He immediately sent that motherfucker to the waters. Let him be over there with them water individuals. He don't need to fight him no more. Aoyama pull up. He tried to hit him with the beam. My boy nice. He ain't timid like his brother. His brother's a little bit timid. He see the beam coming. He reflect that boy back. Portals up. He's aware mentally. He's really a crash out. You feel me? He's Ayama get hit with the beam. All the class 1A trying to they trying to lock in. They trying to level up. They like hold on. Now, they thought they was comfortable at first because it was one guy. Then that one guy started whooping them. They said, hold on, now let me surround them real quick. He said, okay, bet. Bakugo flying in from the bottom. He was waiting on this one. He was waiting for that one. Portal under him. He'd fall into the portal. He in the sky now. Falling down still, of course. He teleported to the sky. Like in the room, in the area. He was like, miss me. Bakugo turn around. Portal, he see a portal under him. He prepared. He's searching all around for where the other portal at. He didn't realize it was gonna be behind him. He done grabbed the little mask thing that Bakugo wears, ripped it off. Bakugo instantaneously, he heated. He tried to turn around with the smooth explosions. It's his team behind him. When he see people behind him, he start getting flashbacks. He see Izuku out of nowhere. He said, he can't raise his hand against the homies. He trying to be better than this. It did still heat him up though. Automatically, bro, done you feel me? He done hit another portal. And, he realizing at this point, yeah, he could probably get a couple sneak hits in, couple trips, couple kicks, couple punches on the jaws. But ultimately, it's going to be a lot harder for him to just fight. He can't move a portal once it's formed. So after, Bakugo done got the way he sees it, humiliated and clowned because bro done took his mask. Which is to him is a sign of like, bro, you could have just got folded right then. My boy, I'm gonna call him Kid. That's his name. That's this teleporting brother's name. Kid. Kid pull up, you feel me? He start circling the mask around his fingers and stuff. He was like, hey, I'll let you go this time, but I trust that we'll meet again real soon. And, Bakugo was like, he turned around. Once he realized he down the stairs, he automatically, explosions trying to get to him. He said, come back here and die, you clown. Because I said that boy was heated. I told you he was heated. My boy Kid. He playing that bull game when you gotta use the red and then dodge out the way. He hit that move, dodged him, and said, "Wouldn't dream of it." And teleports out though. He teleports out. Now I'm gonna tell you a little bit something about a little bit Kid, right? Kid, and his brother used to be thieves. His brother didn't ever want to do that shit, but Kid was ready for that shit the whole time, right? They done stole hella. Well, Kid right now during this escapade without, they were supposed to be going in there and fighting and shit. Kid was stealing shit the whole time. You feel me? The whole time they didn't even. He most of the whole. He was popping back in of USJ at periods, but USJ kind of ain't got a lot of shit to steal from. So he was gone. He came back. He kept coming back after he would steal some more shit. And he got all that shit packed in the back of USJ. So he can keep an eye on it. So, he teleported back to that. And, he teleported all that shit back home. He came up with a mean lick. Dub for the villains, my name. It's a dub for the villains. Anyway, police show up. They busting down and stuff. The event got to get, news reported. Principal Nezu show up. Everybody talking about it. Bakugo heated. You feel me? He even more mad because he couldn't catch the nigga. But, he got his people with him. Chaco show up. She got Kirishima. She got Dinky, Mina, Sarah. You feel me? They all pull up on him. They trying to talk to him. They like, yo, bro, this, you ain't gotta, come on now. It's not just you out here, my nigga. It's not just you out here. You got a team. You can rely on us. And Bakugo, he gotta come to terms with that. My boy apologized. He wasn't trying to make it seem like it was just him out there. Cause this is Bakugo for, this the Izuku. He trying to live out the dream for Izuku. Even though he hold him, but that's besides the point. Yeah, he apologized to him. They're like, man, nah, we just gotta work on your teamwork, that's all. My boy Kirishima. And they gonna get them villain niggas next time. They gonna get them villains. Every last one of them, they all gonna pay. They came out of that boy unscathed. Nobody was hurt. Only thing that happened was Bakugo got his mask took. And Nezu, specifically, was interested in that. Right? Obviously, he don't come up to Bakugo about that now. But they did just have somebody possibly break into UA when the security doors got destroyed. And now Bakugo mask missing? Somebody stole it from him? He trying to understand. He trying to come to the conclusions. He's trying to think. Because if he don't think, who's gonna think? Anyway, rewinding time a little bit, right? Not gonna bore you with the small details, right? During the USJ, specifically when Kirishima said, call for the new recruits, Izuku, Madeline, Kai, and Aiden are on their knees in front of All for One. They ran into the wrong motherfucker. They did not expect it to be this bad. They didn't realize it was going to be this much of a tragedy. Just rewinding a little bit more. Obviously, Aiden told Izuku that some shit was going down, and Izuku said he wanted to be a part of that shit. He wanted to see what was going on. So, tracking down some phone signals, some signatures, some radio waves, hacking into some specific people that seemed like they was a little bit higher interest. 2 groups was made. The group that went to USJ, supported by Kit, making sure nobody in there gets caught or dies, and the group to try to find out who the leader is over here. Now, they pull up at the little area. It's initially a warehouse. Initially, it's a warehouse, right? They get took immediately. Random ass quirk they don't know nothing about got black stuff spilling out their mouth, and they took to where All for One is. They can't see him. They don't know where they at initially. They prepared to fight, respectfully. Then the TV things start popping up. They said, "Calm down, everyone. I just thought it'd be nicer if I brought you to a place that was a lot more secluded." My boy Izuku still got the gun out. That's because he ain't got no quirk. And he says out loud, like, we don't want any trouble. Just thought we could find the man that was prepared to take out All Might is all. And All for One is like, oh, so you've heard about that. Seems like you've done a lot of research. But tell me, do you truly know who you're talking to? Lights start flickering on, leading down the hallway. They start walking down the hallway, They don't know how they don't know how they gonna make it out. They all the way trapped. This is as bad as it can get. So as they walk down, there's different rooms, different little window things that are open, operating tables, no moves, blood and gore on in some of the windows. You feel me? It's a violent area. It's violent to the senses. Izuku immediately recognized this as guerrilla tactics. He wants them scared. Best to play the part. So when they finally do walk in, they see All for One, propped up on that little chair, got the life support on him. And he was like, I am All Might's only rival. All Might thought he could kill me. But the game's too much fun. And using people like you, it's gonna really get under his skin. Right? Immediately he putting himself on the level of All Might without even really having to say nothing about it. And that's when we get to the present moment of them being on their knees in front of him. Because if All Might can't even kill him, they ain't got no option. You feel me? So, Kai, Madeline, Aiden, they see Izuku, fall to the knees. They hit their knees too. And All for One's like, I see. So you're the leader. Izuku look up, smiling nervously. He ain't fully prepared for a situation like this. Izuku's like, he finally gets something out. He's like, there's no fooling you, trying to just butter him up a little bit. He was like, yes, but flattery will get you nowhere. Tell me, why did you come here? It's like, man, like I said, We just wanted to find out who was going to take out All Might. See what kind of villain he was. I didn't realize it would be something like you. It's like, oh yeah, something like me is a very accurate analysis. Because I'm obviously nothing like you. You know, All For One scans all three of them, all of them really, is like, the leader is a kid with no quirk, huh? What an interesting world we live in. Even the powerless can ruffle up some strength if they get the right goons, I guess. And another TV falls from the sky and shit. Not from the sky, it just comes out of the circle. You know, it's a robot TV, whatever, right? Kind of in the future, whatever, right? Another TV appears. You know, Scream appears, right? It's got footage from the USJ. We seeing, you know, Deku people. We seeing Shigaraki, the Nomu. Specifically, we seeing the Nomu got All Might in the little pincer move. And then we automatically see that get foiled, right? Like I said, it happened in previous. Not in previous, but you know what I'm talking about. Either way. And, you know, we see All Might, you know, they all watch All Might win. And, you know, obviously All For One doing his commentary about, you know, who All Might is to him, but not giving him all the beans of it, you know, just saying like, yes, the symbol of peace, the symbol of hope, the symbol I mean to destroy. He has something I want. That is reason enough for me to kill him. And, you know, everybody else, a lot of them is in fear. Kai, hella scared. Madeline, hella scared. Aiden keeping his cool because, you know, he doesn't think they're gonna die right now. They could most definitely die, but the whole room is filled with electronics. If he gotta destroy, if he gotta fight, if he gotta die behind this shit, he gonna die behind it. This the only family he ain't never had. So, as they watch that, and they see All Might succeed and live, more information gets pressed out of Izuku. Everyone wants to know about where they came from and who they are. And he also wants Izuku to take that fucking mask off. Izuku takes the mask off because, you know, when you in somebody else's house, you're going to do what they say. You feel me? And, you know, he say where they came from, this little orphanage area, blah, blah, blah street. You feel me? And, you know, how long they been doing this for, how long he done operated. And, you know, All For One's like, I was wondering why those traffickers never came back. You know, now we know that, you know, we know where that came from. I know I said it was KS, you know, Korigiri Shigaraki. He part of the Shigarakis. Hey, you know, he do the paperwork as far as I'm considered. Plus, if I put AS, I feel like it'd be pretty obvious that it's, you know, All For One Shigaraki. But whatever. Like I said, you know, when we find out that, when everybody in the group finds out that the orphanage was supposed to go to All For One, you know, they don't know that he is All For One. But besides the point, when they found out that he was, then they were supposed to go to him the whole time. That's when Korigiri pull up. You know, we got Shigaraki. He wrapped in bandages, you know. And, you know, he reported to his master. He don't normally meet face to face, but this was a special occasion. So All For One called for him. And obviously Shigaraki failed. So he's like, I failed you, master. I'm sorry. I couldn't take down All Might or whatever. And All For One was like, you did very good, Tomura Shigaraki. I was impressed with your tactile mind. And so I'm giving you more than Nomus. This group of villains will be appointed to your disposal as you please. And as soon as he says that, Izuku stands up and says, I can't allow that. And, all for one, he kind of perplexed. Somebody is denying him. Somebody's saying that they can't do something. He's like, I don't want these kids either. It's just if I had another no move, I'd be able to come up with a better plan to take down All Might. And Izuku also responded, and we just watched him lose. I don't think he got the mentality to be trying to fight All Might in the first place. They don't even know each other. They already at each other's throats. Sharky look back, and I was like, who do you think you're talking to? You want to turn into dust, kid? You feel me? It's like, now who do you think you're talking to? You pull out that gun. He said, man, he said, I done got this far all by my lonesome. I'll be damned if I'm under you. You feel me? That's when all from us started laughing like, such youth. Maybe this rivalry could be used to further your development, Shigaraki. And obviously, Shigaraki like, what? I don't need. That's when a doctor pull up like, calm down. No, that's when Korigiri showed, Lord Shigaraki, please listen to the master. Shigaraki start calming down. All for one says, I'll allow you to continue to be villains in that orphanage that you have. And I'll even allow you to be your own leader. For now. If you're good enough, maybe I'll even give you a couple more gifts. Free of charge, of course. He deviously smiling. Izuku don't like that look, he don't like that look, but he gonna take what it take, he gonna get what it takes right now. He gonna be all right. And he says, all that I ask of you is that you try to get along with this young man here. And I'll try to make sure that he doesn't destroy all you have. At least for now. And Izuku's still not liking them sounds, but he looked back over at Shigaraki. Shigaraki, all he doing is itching, scratching his neck. Ashy, dirty. No, I'm joking. But for real though. He says, all right. It's a deal. It says, wonderful. What did you say your name was again? It's like, I'm Izuku Midoriya. And he was about to just teleport them away after that. And then he was like, Midoriya? Why does that name sound familiar? And, Shigaraki's like, what's the matter, Master? What, did this kid need to be dusted after all? Still scratching. This other one's like, Midoriya. Are you related to Inko Midoriya? It was like, obviously, that boy shook. How you know my mother? And it's like, you look just like her. I'm surprised I didn't put two and two together earlier when you took that mask off. I guess I don't have to continue to send money over there. Izuku, perplexed. He always assumed his father was Hasashi, fake name that All For One used, apparently. He's like, oh, shit. All For One continues and says, now that I think about it, I guess it's my fault that you're quirkless right now. And that heat up Izuku immediately. What? I was like, yeah, you had a quirk when you were born. Does this doctor look familiar? This is All For One doctor. Same doctor that took his quirk. Well, that, analyzed and said that Izuku wasn't going to get a quirk. And it was like, yes, this man has been under me for, generations. We've had a loving partnership. It's like, you took your own son's quirk? You know, Kai hops up and says, it was like, yes, it was a pretty good one. I'll give it back to you if you want it. You know, he already trying to get Izuku to feel indebted to him. Izuku doesn't recognize this at the time. But, you know, just for the viewers to know, just letting y'all know, he trying to get Izuku to be indebted to him. Trying to let him know all the works. Like, oh, yeah, I'm your dad, and I knew your mom, and I was sending her money, and I got your quirk. I'll give it back to you right now. But that does tell Izuku some information. He like, damn, this nigga my dad? Nah, think about it. It wasn't ever no photos of him. He is surprised his mom would ever fall in love with somebody that looked like this. And then he realized he could take quirks. Hell, mom probably don't even know what he looked like for real at all, or have any real memories of him. And then he realizes in his head, she didn't, because she's dead. Trying to, you know, just getting back to that mentally, recognizing that he ain't got a mom no more. And he says, keep the quirk, scratching the back of his head, you know. He's like, I don't need it, and I won't either. I'm going to be the greatest example of evil this world has ever seen. The worst of the worst. And I don't need that fucking quirk to do it. All for one laughs even harder. Worst example of evil, you say? It really might be my blood running through you. I'll let you run along for now. But don't be surprised if I call you back. Okay? Izuku Midoriya. And as he says that nigga name, they teleport back to where the warehouse was. Perplexed, conflicted, what's that song? Dishonored, disgraced. Anyway, there's too much singing in these videos, man. I'm gonna get copyrighted for real. I know I say that like I've ever sung anything in these videos, but you know, now I got intros to the video. How'd y'all like that, by the way? Let me know. Y'all mess with the intro? I might really get copyrighted. Anyway, you know, Izuku, you know, he's silent, dead silent. You know, he started walking back home. They trying to talk to him like, Izuku, you good? Hey, Izuku, your dad, like, Izuku, what's going on? He opened the door. He just sighs. It's like, just check for bugs on the clothes. And he started walking. You know, obviously they start checking for the bugs. You know, trying to see if there's any listening devices, tracking devices. Hell, I don't know what's going on. Knowing him and how long he's been around. Well, Izuku kind of guessing what the quirk is because he hasn't been told, you know, expressly. But, you know, assuming how long he's been around, talking about he's been with that doctor for generations. He only assumed that, you know, he probably got some decent quirks anyway. He might not. He don't know how much. He don't know what he can and can't do no more, right? It's not just one tied to him. There's a possibility he can do anything he wants right now. It's also weird to him that he didn't have no eyes or a nose or hair. But maybe he doesn't even need that. He seemed to you know, not need it when he was, you know, operating everything in the room. You feel me? It's just, you know, my boy it's clouding my boy judgment a little bit. He doesn't know how to feel about that. This whole time he thought he was, you know, it was just him. It really is still just him. Was he gonna rely on All For One, the super villain that he didn't know was his dad? You feel me? It barely even seemed like it mattered in the moment. And it doesn't matter to him either. So he continues. They get back home. No bugs in the clothes, but Izuku, it doesn't matter if there's bugs in the clothes anyway because he knows what the orphanage is. It was his orphanage. You feel me? At the very least, he ran it, underground. Had the people in there giving them kids, so he could take their quirks and leave them quirkless, or maybe make them into, minions or whatever. But yeah, they get back, job successful. They out there. They done, they whole team celebrating. They was waiting for they was waiting for Izuku to come back. Obviously, first person to bring my boy Izuku spirit to told the guy jump from the ceiling, crash on him. Like, Izuku, they did it. They did their job well, Izuku. They won. They got in there. Nobody was captured. They got out. It was all fun, Izuku. And, everybody else, they all talking. Everybody's, happy, in joyful moods. You feel me? Ready to celebrate. They got the boss back. Big ups for the villains. You feel me? Big dubs, big dogs, right? Izuku, he want to hear about what happened. He trying to hear it, trying to hear about, because there's a whole bunch of new recruits that went out there. He trying to hear what they could do, what they did, what they could do better, how they feeling about improving. His spirits already is lifted. He feeling happier because the mood is just happier. All the people that was with him is happier too, because they ain't looking at Izuku as he's stressing in his mind about what he can do. And he getting the rundown. Everybody in the group, they out there talking about him and talking to him. You feel me? This, that, and the third happened. They did these things. They could do better in these things. They seen some shit over there with some frog girl. They seen the Nomus and shit. They don't know what was going on, but they was still trying to. They were just trying to live, trying to cause some destruction, do some damage. They didn't get to say his name though, which was a little bit, on the bad side. They let him know that though, like, yeah, we didn't get to say our name about it though. We couldn't put your name on it. It was like, it don't matter. He was wearing the outfit. Whether they know it's your name, whether they know it's my name now or they'll find out later, it's irrelevant. You feel me? They're like, oh yeah, bet it up then, yeah. But, my boy Kid, we pull up on Kid. He's like, yeah, well, how was it? How was it leading the charge, making sure everybody was good, And it was like, man, it was easy. I was, keeping an eye on everybody, just making sure everybody was safe and shit. I also got some souvenirs. He roll out this little bag carpet thing. You feel me? He's like, yeah, just a couple things I picked up while I was out there, and Kid, he started showing off his stuff. He started showing off his souvenirs and stuff, right? And it was like, it was just an in and out job. We, got the, I watched them all have fun and stuff, and then, it was good. It was a good mission, man. I can't wait to go on some more, right? And Izuku, you look at the stuff. He's like, all right, well, nigga was stealing, I guess. He ain't mad at. Kai is like, damn, bro, ain't nobody told you to go out there and no steal some shit. You supposed to be watching the group. You supposed to be fighting. You supposed to be causing some havoc. He was like, I was causing some havoc when I was taking the shit. Come on, now was it? This, that, and the third. Madeline was out here like, yeah, but you could have got caught, man. Be careful next time. And Izuku pick up the mask. He's like, what the fuck is this? And then he's like, oh yeah, just somebody dropped and shit. Don't worry about it too much, man. You feel me? And that's when Chris pull up. His twin brother. He timid. So he said, man, you said you fought that boy for it before everything had happened, right? He was like, man, we ain't gotta talk about that, man. Shut up, man. Damn, you always snitching on some shit. You feel me? And Zuku started like, he said, what? You feel me? It's like, well, that kid that was bullying you in high school and shit. Yeah, I wasn't just fighting him. I just ran out there and fought, everybody, and I took that mask off of him, and I was just trying to prove my worth. I know you be on that training and shit. I was just trying to put myself in a real battle. And he said, I mean, that's cool, but why didn't you just say that the first time? You was acting like your shit was over. It was like, yeah, I didn't want to. I was just gonna, let it be, my own personal souvenir and shit. I was just gonna tell you everything went fine and I was gonna be good. It was he said, huh? You just going what? He was like, yeah, I was just going, it was, it's not like anything happened, it wasn't too much. It was just, yeah, I didn't want you to think that I was trying to steal your thunder by fighting Bakugo or whatever his name, with that Baku kid or whatever his name was, I was just out there trying to, get my own testing done and stuff, right? And it was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I respect that. But you had to lie to me about that though? Like, you didn't have to lie to me about that. And he was like, yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to lie about it. I was just, it wasn't important. And, Izuku handling the mask bag was like, yeah, I hear that you didn't think it was important, and I feel that, but, don't, just make sure you tell me anything that happens. If you go off script from the plan because you wanted to fight somebody, if you don't fight nobody, if you just decide to go around stealing stuff, did you swing on anybody when everybody was out there swinging? He's like, no. And Zuku, cut it off. He's like, so you just out taking shit, bringing it back and checking on them then, right? He was like, yeah, you get it. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I left him there. I went to go take some shit. I came back. I was checking on him, and I was just. And then All Might showed up. All Might showed up. You didn't even see All Might showed up too. I didn't tell you about that. You feel me? He was trying to, Kid was trying to tell him about the All Might situation, what happened was about that. And he was like, oh shit, yeah, you seen all that? Even though you wasn't there the whole time. I was like, yeah, but It's like, yeah, I told you I was making sure about what was going on and shit, right? And that's when one of the new recruits was like, man, you got the rundown from us. You don't even try. We just told you about the line and shit. You feel me? He's like, man, you right. I got the rundown from them. I wasn't there the whole time. You feel me? I was just, it's like, yeah, I understand. You feel me? You ain't gotta explain nothing to me. I got you, bro. That's what he said to Kid. It's like, yeah, appreciate it. He turned around and then he realized he was still holding Bakugo's mask. And he was like, in his head, he was like, oh, I should probably just leave this with him. He obviously took it as a souvenir for himself. But, he was like, I should just, this could be his souvenir. Obviously this the dude he trying to get back at anyway, right? So he turned around, he say, actually you, bang, to his temple. He fall down dead. Izuku with the gun in his hand, still smoking. He drops it, steps over Kid's body. He says, I'm gonna have to make this very, very clear. I am allowing you all to use my name as a scapegoat. I am allowing you all to hide your identities so that if you decide to leave, you can leave. Almost nothing is punished so long as I know about it. I don't give a fuck that he went out there and stole some shit. I don't give a fuck that he didn't do a single ounce of the plan. I honestly could care less that he wasn't even there to protect the people that he was supposed to be protecting. He talking to the crowd. Everybody's stunned, in shocked. They don't know what the fuck going on no more. In front of Kit's brother, in front of Chris, he just pulled up. He just said some shit. He said, genuinely, Kit could have showed up there, left all of them to be captured by the police, and as long as he came back and didn't try to hide a detail, didn't try to lie, didn't try to, cover his own ass, nothing would have happened to him. Because I'm perfectly fine with going over there and staging a jailbreak to get my guys back. The problem shows up. The real problem, the real thing that I have a problem with is that he lied to me. to cover his own ass, he decided he wanted to do some more shit. He decided he was going to do anything he wanted to do. And that's fine. Like I said before, he can do whatever the fuck he want to do. And if he had genuinely just forgot about some shit, that's okay too. That's not going to be a problem with me. I don't care. You know, if you genuinely just forgot about some shit, I'm not expecting you to be perfect. I'm telling you to tell me what happened. And he didn't do that. So now, today, we have to bury our friend, our brother, a loved one, Kid. Deadass, I think that should be the end of the episode, right there. That should genuinely be the end of the episode. I think I should keep going a little bit, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, man, say that. You know, it get grimy in these streets. It get grimy in the streets, big bro. You know, in shock, terrified. They don't know what's going on. The situation is changed. The only rule, don't lie to Izuku. So yeah. Only thing I'm gonna say after that is that you know, All Might wake up at UA in the nurse's office. You know, he had to get healed up a little bit, and you know, he's talking to what is this motherfucker? I can't believe it. Right? I just can't believe it. I don't remember her name ever. What is her name? It's something. Recovery Girl. Thank God. Oh my goodness, man, that's insane work. I refuse to remember her name for some reason. I guess it's because Recovery Girl sounds like so like this belongs to a child and she's like the oldest person in the show. Whatever. I don't care anymore. All Might. He wake up, Recovery's Girl's office. You know, he had to get recovered. And you know, Recovery Girl talking to him about, you know, him bullshitting. He needs to do better. Tired of fucking healing your ass all the time. Heal yourself, nigga. Nah, I'm joking. But for real, though. And, you know, obviously, All Might, he placating. I say placating. He bantering. He going back and forth, you know. You gotta be a hero. It was hard out there, man. You should have seen it. Whole lot of work. And, you know, they have their fun. And, you know, it's met with like a bitterness at the end. A sadness, a somber. As, you know, Recovery Girl feels this and she leaves. You know, my boy Toshinori, my boy All Might. He you know, he puts his hands together and he's like, I have to find a successor. I can't keep doing this. I just can't. And see, things about everybody in 1A. There's some picks. There's some picks. There's some people. There's some individuals. And life is only getting worse. You heard what was going on with that random kid, right? They don't know fully it's a child, but it's dude was acting a little playful. That's only meaning these villains getting younger, and that's a problem too. That he ain't even left yet and they getting younger. He gotta do better. Or find a successor. All he knows is that he's running out of time. And that's it. You know, I feel like this series is a lot more, how do I say, sad. It's a lot more melodramatic, maybe. Maybe it's a little bit more, it's a lot less whimsical. It's a lot more serious, I feel like. And I'm not necessarily upset about that at all. I kind of I mess with it for the setting that I picked for it. You know, whole lot was revealed. Season 1, whole lot was revealed. You know, we got a whole lot of situations going. You know, we gonna check back in with season 2. We gonna see what's going on. Before that, you know, we might make a new series. You know, might make a new series. Might drop some. Might drop some. You know, might drop some. But that's besides the point. I hope y'all have a great, immaculate, wonderful, loving, caring, fair, blessed by the one true God. Amen. The highest power. Anyway, hope y'all have a good one. And you know, I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye.